Good morning, everyone, and welcome again to the Strategic Narrative Underground session. Every Thursday, I welcome you at 9 a.m. Pacific to come and listen and share and explore another principle around this idea of strategic narrative. My name is Guillaume Wiatr. I am the principal and founder of MetaHelm. MetaHelm specializes in in building strategic narratives for companies, large and small, to help business owners and business leaders take their organizations to the next level of engagement and profitability. So over the past few days, I've been exploring and writing a lot about this concept of movement first. And in fact, this was already the theme for last week's call, and I felt compelled to talk about it again, today, because it seems like there is leg there, and I'd like to try to dive a little deeper, explain a little more what I mean by this concept and what transformation aspect does it offers when you're building a business. There is a big transformation, there is a big change compared to the traditional way we build organizations and companies. And I'd like to go over this a little more and get your feedback, of course. These sessions are recorded. I post them on YouTube, and they are meant for you to chime in and have a conversation and share with me your thoughts and tell me what you think about these concepts. If you are not able to join the call today, please email me at guillaume@metahelm.com and share your thoughts. If you're not on my email list yet, I talk about those calls and I promote those calls on my email list. You can also find access to my email list, my daily publication. I publish 7 days a week on my website at metahelm.com. Okay, so this is how I've been thinking about why I say movement first. And last week, I was making a contrast between businesses that start with a product versus businesses that start as a movement. Remember, I had an axis with two concepts: product first on the left and movement first on the right. And my point was to say that typically when you start a business, what you do is that, so say this is you right here. So you're a founder, or you're a creator, and you're inventing something that I call the product. But what I mean by product is not necessarily something tangible or something packaged. I draw it here as a little box to make it very concrete. But your product could be a service, could be a process, could be a new way to do something. And when you invent, after you invent a product, the dilemma of the inventor is that you want to share it with others, right? Before it can become an innovation, your invention has to be adopted by others. So what typically happens is that to do that, we turn to marketing. And traditional marketing, especially in the past, I would say 10 to 15 years, says, well, you have to have a good story to be able to sell it to others. And so what we develop is a set of messages that I represent here as an arrow, because in English, we say we're going to pitch it to people. So pitching means that we're throwing something over the fence, and we are hoping that other people, such as our prospects, our customers, will catch it, and they will get the product, and they will want to buy the product. And so that's really a traditional approach. That's everyone in business thinks about building an organization like this. I'm going to start with something genius, and then I'm going to try to sell it to others. And this works okay. I mean, many companies have worked this way and have been very, very successful, really large organizations. But what we're seeing these days is a change in the way we get access to information, in the way we experience life as a whole. The pandemic in 2020 has really changed overall the set of values that people care about. And what happens is that what if people don't want to engage with your new solution? What if people don't want necessarily to engage with that method of connecting? So what you do here is that typically, back to where you are, you're right here. You're going to try and start to develop different sets of messages. Marketing is going to say, well, you try this one and try that one. And so what it's going to start doing over time is that you're building another story, because maybe it's going to maybe it's going to appeal to people differently. So there it is. And you're creating another set of message. And maybe now your organization, your company is working out and you're trying to reach potentially to investors. And what those investors want you to say something different, because their expectations might be different. They probably don't want necessarily to listen to the full product story or to the full pitch, but they are interested in another set of consideration, another set of questions. And so you see where I'm heading with this. Very, very shortly, what's going on is that you have see those arrows here, they're all different storylines and they go to different people. And still with the hope that people will be a recipient of your product idea. So this is how we do innovation in a very traditional and typical way, typical format. But this method faces a set of changes, a set of challenges that I have observed over the years. And the first one is that, as you could see here, it creates too many layers of strategy. So if you consider that every single of those stories is a different strategy to go to market, to expand, to get new customers, to reach out, what happens is that you end up with different stories, different storyline, different ideas. And if you're just a solo practitioner, if you're just one owner, it's still okay because you can remember the difference between those storylines. But as soon as you start becoming a team, that creates a big problem, because then we don't know exactly which storyline we should be using. Some people prefer one versus the others. And you end up in a situation where I see this all the time. The organization is very misaligned. And so it creates a lot of confusion. The second challenge that I see is that it's not promoting a strong sense of focus. You see, all of those stories are going in all different directions. So there is a lack of focus here. Lack of focus. The third challenge that I see here is that this approach is very self-centered. It's all about me, the founder, the creator. It's all about my product. It's all about us as a brand. And so we're really trying to interrupt people in their life, in their daily existence. And we're trying to purchase and buy their attention. But people don't have a lot of attention. People are busy. The attention span is actually, there is research on this, has been decreasing very, very sharply, especially in the past 15 years. And so this game becomes very hard, very difficult, because interrupting people is very stressful for them, but also for you when you do it. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of money. So this self-centered method here has a lot of limits, right? It's a very short-term game. And the fourth one, and the one that I want to probably talk a little more about today, is the idea that when you think about your company like this, you are considering people as an audience. And typically an audience is passive. An audience receives a message. An audience is there to judge your message. And so what you're limiting yourself to, what you're not doing, is that you're not creating any motion. You're not engaging people. They are not compelled to change anything. They are not participants of your business idea here. So these are the 4 challenges that I see around this very traditional notion. And this is why I've been thinking about, okay, so how could we do this differently? Those pitfalls here are things that I've been observing for over 20 years now. And then I shared with you in a previous session, the first moment I saw this was in 2001. I was working at a large organization called Total in France, and everybody had some great ideas about what the product that we were trying to implement should look like. It was very self-centered. It was very technology-driven. No one had given any thought about how do we make people adopt our new technology solution. And so we thought that we would just bringing some kind of marketing genius and some kind of storyteller that would put a nice wrapper around this to make it work. The stakes were really high, in the range of 20 million euros at the time, a very large amount, and that didn't work out. And then later, I realized that a specific type of organization has figured something out that we should pay attention to, and they are movements. Movements have approached this completely differently. Movements are not necessarily trying to sell you on a product, but as I was talking about last week, movements have this radical way to get our attention, to get us to stop what we do, to get us to stop what we do, and to get us engaged and emotionally connected with a mission and a cause that is greater than us. So let me walk you through, now that I've described what, in fact, I should write it down here, what product first means. I'd like to do the same for what I called movement first. Okay. Product first. There you go. So in a movement first type of paradigm, we see a few things radically differently. The first thing that I noticed, and that hopefully you will concur with me, is that we don't treat people as prospect or consumers of an end product. We look at people as a community, first of all. So we look at people as a whole. It's a much more universal view of things. And what we're trying to do is recognize, who do we want to work with? Who do we want to support? Who do we know? And why does it matter to us? Because maybe as a founder, we are part of this community. I used the example of Arkimoto, the company based out of Oregon, who creates those fun utility vehicles. They look like electric motorcycles. And in the origin of this company, the founder of the company was himself facing challenges driving through the city. Commuting easily was taking too much time, and he thought that it was completely nuts to keep driving big vehicles that use a lot of gas. So he was very frustrated about this. And in a moment of frustration, what he did is that he started to turn to his community and look for options and look for solutions, and he couldn't find one. So what he decided to do is to create one, and thus came and then he started a company called Arkimoto. It's now a few years old. It's publicly traded and it's doing really, really well. So the first concept here, when you do a movement first company building, is that you think about your stakeholders in a broader sense, and you think about them more as a community. And you will probably notice in my emails that I do that a lot. I refer to the community or of people that you're serving. So that's the first step here. The second thing that happens is that before you can sell anyone on a product in this idea of movement first, is like I said, a movement is about change. It's about a radical shift in a situation. A movement tries to take people from a situation A to a situation B. Hence the word movement, right? It's moving literally from one situation to the other one. And the movement is successful when the movement manages to mobilize people, to put them in motion, literally speaking. So to do that, you have to be able to suggest an opportunity, what I call the opportunity story in my model, something that will elevate people's existence, right? So I'm going to draw a little mountain here just as a symbol for elevation. You're really in that mindset of trying to make somebody else's life better versus before you can generate profit or create a product that will get them there. So there's really this strong idea of opportunity here. All right, the opportunity here in my approach is, I know it's a little bit metaphorical, it's a little bit conceptual, but if you think about it, it can be very, very concrete. In the case of Arkimoto, my opportunity is to drive more efficiently, have fun, and also have lesser of an impact on the environment. But if you think about many other business solutions today, the opportunity at a human level it can be really, really diverse. It can be saving time, it can be saving life, it can be health, it can be anything. So yeah, you name it. So we have people here showing up in these cons, and one of the participant is in real estate. And I remember in one of the previous calls, she was saying that the opportunity that she would like to suggest, the change that she wants to trigger is a change in how you see real estate and creating new ways for people to access property. The third thing that movement do is that so you're here and maybe you're the business owner and you've already been from here to there, from this situation A to situation B, right? Or before and maybe an after. And so you really drive with this idea that you can make people's life better. But in order to do that, you have to be very clear about how we're going to get there. And what are the tenets of your philosophy and your beliefs and how it's going to work. The movements do this very, very well. In fact, almost all of them write a manifesto, for instance. They put it in writing. They've got principles. They've got a very clear set of norms, of social rules that create the cement between people in the community. Movements really are very, very clear about what they will accept and what they will not accept. Patricia here in the call shared with me the example of a company called Tony's Chocolate. And Tony's Chocolate is a Dutch company. And they decided that the industry, the chocolate manufacturing industry should change and should offer fair compensation to people who produce cocoa. And so that's clearly in their values. They are here to change the way chocolate is manufactured, and they now work with big manufacturers, and they are able to have a significant impact because what they've done is that they've changed the perspective around how chocolate should be produced, manufactured, and distributed. So in this context, what movements do is that they are very clear about a set of beliefs. We're going to draw a little heart here because their values are very clear. They're very different. They stand out, and they most of the time go against the common wisdom that people will accept as truth. So they have a set of values. They also reframe their understanding of the context, and they share new knowledge. They share new insights with people. And you will see this. Companies that drive with a movement first will create a lot of content. They will publish blog articles. They will sometimes the CEO will publish a book about his view of how things should work. This was the case for Howard Schultz when he started Starbucks. He had a completely different view of what a coffee shop should be about. For him, it was about social relationships, creating social interactions. That was the initial idea. Now the company has gone on a different trajectory, but initially his thought was to recreate something that he had experienced in Italy. And he wanted to change the way that people interacted, in coffee shops here in the United States. So it was not only values and knowledge, but also he created environments and also established a set of actions that should happen in the Starbucks coffee shops. So little arrows here to talk about actions. This forms a quadrant. If you've watched previous videos, you will recognize what this quadrant is about. It's the way I think about a narrative. A narrative is a system of stories, and right now I've laid out 3 of the stories for you here on this whiteboard. Movements are very powerful, very, very unique in this way, but they don't go anywhere if they don't call people to action, if they don't give people a role, and if they don't equip people with an instrument. And that's when your product comes into focus here. That's where we will place the product. The product is really the vehicle. It's the way you take your community from a situation to another. It's really a reflection of your perspective, and it should come second in this paradigm. So this is really where the product comes in. Actually, many movements struggle with this. If you think about the 1% movement here in the United States, about 10 years ago, the bucket challenge movements, all of these caught our attention very, very quickly. They went very viral. But what was it about? What were people supposed to do after that? What was the instrument that were going to help them take action? And I think that's where product organizations have an edge. You can really fix this. I want to come back to this initial situation here. If you're this creator and you come up with a really great product, really easy to use, easy to get, and that has some good results, that's when you bring this idea of movement to full fruition. The product here is really what enables people to take action, right? So that's how you think about product first versus movement first. There you go. All right. I'm gonna try to stop talking. It was a little longer than usual here due to the fact that I'm drawing at the same time. I hope that shed some light, and I brought some clarity around this newer concept of movement first versus product first. Like I said in one of my latest articles, I don't think um, I don't think this movement first idea is just for anyone or in any context. You know, like everything, it has pros and cons. I just see it very applicable now in a world where people want to be part of a group of like-minded, other individuals that get together for a meaningful reason, that get together for a specific purpose. So there you go. I'll stop there and see if you have questions.